That was a great afternoon tea. How about a round of applause for the afternoon tea? Those little beautiful, tasty morsels, those pastries, can't go past them. It's a great pleasure to introduce our next act, which is Richard Brown. And Richard says that his recovery journey is ongoing and always part of his life. He enjoys working on rock, acoustic and spiritual guitar playing. Well, that will take us to new higher levels, I'm sure, the spiritual guitar playing. And spends more time on these pursuits since having been retired from peer support work in May 2022. But before we go any further, how about a round of applause for all the peer work that Richard's undertaken. So over to you, Richard. Thanks so much.
I was just clapping myself. I thought you said generically. Anyway, so I'm going to do two songs. The first one's one I did at the Themes Conference when I tried to do a little song about my story as a peer worker. I always try to do a poem to summarise my story rather than, in 1994 I was diagnosed with blah blah blah, So, but anyway, I'll see how I go. I'm trying it without my glasses and using my memory, so if I stop, it doesn't matter to me. Here's another story about another life in a 1980s world where drugs were rife. It didn't seem enough to drink wine and beer. Green weed and powder started to appear. After school I had those rough drawn plans, architecture studies and a guitar band. Overnight inspiration was to leave college now, so my life go nowhere than to adapt to somehow. All I really needed was a friend to be kind, to tell me about the soul. Won't you tell me about the mind? Tell me about the spirit world I'm all mixed up, made even worse by those things I took. Medication side effects hit me rather sudden. I tried to get off them but found out that I couldn't. I tried to run away, even tried to die, hoping that the doctors would give their own pills a try. Episodes of anger, more times than I figured. In my thinking I'd suddenly be triggered, visualizing violence, angry words I said. Surely I'm condemned, but Jesus loved me instead. All I really needed was a friend to be kind, to tell me about the soul. Won't you tell me about the mind? Tell me about the spirit world I'm all mixed up, made even worse by the things I took. Newer medications, they keep me on the mend. Big dose of other ones took me to the end. The lesson for me is to be self-aware and healthy, keeping up my prayers. Bad fortune is so stealthy. All I really needed was a friend to be kind, to tell me about the soul. Won't you tell me about the mind? Tell me about the spirit world I'm all mixed up, made even worse by the things I took. This one's a little less nervous for me because it's takes me a while to get used to voice. The next one's instrumental, so I can chill out. And it uses a different tuning, which sometimes guitarists use. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin used this one. Anyway, it's more of a meditation one. I'll give it a go.
Oh wow, wasn't that beautiful? Who was imagining themselves in a retreat up in Byron Bay, just lying down with a yoga mat and the little headrest and listening to Richard play that as we meditate ourselves into total oblivion. That was fantastic. Another round of applause for Richard. Thank you, Richard. Now, just quickly grab your programs. Just want to preempt page 10 is coming up. Doug's asked me to remind you page 10, where we're going to have a bit of a sing-along in memory of Faye Jackson. And there's a bit of a song, so that'll be coming up sometime soon, so look out for that one. So just giving you the rundown so that we don't get lost in the words. No, not in memory of, but in recognition of. She'll probably come in and garrot me at the moment. That's it.
Is she going to come in?
That's it. Okay, we've got our next artist is Elise Blaney. Now, I'll just get Elise's bio. Welcome, Elise. Elise Blaney is a poet and peer educator with extensive experience in peer work and recovery-focused education across mental health settings. Elise looks like that, don't you think? Looks like a recovery-oriented specialist. You've just got that exuberant, recovery-oriented demeanour about you. So, ladies and gentlemen, Elise Blaney.
Thank you so much, Julie, and thanks, Kia, and thanks everyone for having me. So I'm sitting down because unfortunately I broke my foot. Yeah, so usually I would stand up and perform, but we'll just see how this goes. So as Tim mentioned before, my partner Benjamin Frater, who was filmed in the 2006 Mad Pride concert, this was a poem that I wrote for him. It's called What I Have Learnt from My Husband. Come back to me, even in a dream, Euripides. I swallowed the dream of his eyebrow with the mercy of his fish lips. Kiss bombs, brain, touch tango soul, tango swoon. He said poems and ladders lead to loins and hyenas. And I love that, love him for that. Love will begin and end and begin with swallowed eyebrows, mercy-filled lips, kiss bombs, and no amount of clozapine will make the heart less of a gaping, wet hole. He spoke of signs, sigils, and talked symbols. He moved music and with it, painted speech and a pink star fleshed out of the ocean. This was his effluvial way, the way of waves and lap of love with hips hard against the shove. His mind leapt over the hobby horse and landed on the other side of reason. His soul boarded the tongue and birthed in my mouth. I buried the thorns of nostalgia. I learnt that my husband gave me more than a decade of electroshock. I learnt that it is hard to wake a dead woman. Thank you. Put this maybe here. Okay, this next one is called the Z to A of crazy. It's actually the alphabet. Sorry, I just need to have some water because this one's like a big one. Okay, and it's kind of like a send up, like a satirical piece of the mental health system. Maybe I should face the camera. Okay. All right. The Z to A of crazy. Zonk the overzealous zeal of your zany zoomorphic zoom. You're yanked in yonkers. Yes, you get the yolk for yakking down a fat yak while yelling yada yada yada. Xylophones X-ray and revolt against the powers who believe they be, which you withered into witless woe. So who's wary now, witchy poo? Want a well-built, well-lit, wiretapped wacko who's weirded out, weary and wayward, who's way out wasteful, weaponized and warped with word salad and Wellbutrin wafers that wane and whisper to the wacko you are. Visions can be villainous and your vicious vial vibrates when very upset, very stupid, very lucid, or very mad, bad, and sad. Varicolored vapors vanish into voyeuristic, vague and vacuous vacancy. V2K, voice-to-skull technology. Unrestrained makes you unreasonable, and your vicious vial vibrates when you've come undone. Unhinged and ungovernable, unleashing uncontrollable rifts of rage in Ursula's cave, usurping everyone. Troubled mind is two-toned, two-fisted and twits into target individual synthetic telepathic torture at tribunal hearings to toke on trippy tobacco. Traumatization in vitro and countertransference, treatment-resistant, torturous thunder. Smiling supernatural, superbly superhuman, suspicious when surreal, like strung-out strangers who suck the spirit out of slant-wise, splitting sociopaths, who spit savage with satanic ritual abuse panic. Rage is raucous risk and runs ravage round the twist, rowdy and riotous, rattle-brained on a rapid-eye movement, rambling rampage. Queasers questionable, quixotic and quirky with quaintish puzzles of paranoid psychosis with predictive programming psyop projects, provoking pranks in perfectionist piles of frenetic phantoms in the psychogenic feud, the pyromaniac perversion with P-brains, police state, panic-stricken, persnickety, princess program, Miss Piggies. Psyop, with your pokey project paperclip prick. And I said, hey, St. Peter, even your pointy phalanges look like the portal for psyop propaganda. Overworked into outlandish, oppositional, defiant, off-kilter, Oedipal drama, obsessive-compulsive Othello jealousy, obliteration. Orchestrated Orwellian order ab chaos, oppressive order out of chaos. Nuisance nut jobs with not the full shilling upstairs, not all their narcoleptic nightmares of non-symmetrical neuro-linguistic programming nonsense. Non-compos mentis newfangledness. Nauseatingly naive and mysterious. Naive on Neptune with the New World Order, naked with NASA, never a straight answer. Machiavellian multicoloured mutations of moonstruck misfits, Molotov cocktails mind-bogglingly messed up from the Mandela effect, mentally deranged medleys of maniacal MK Ultra and monarch butterfly mind control with MI5 looking mean on the MI6. Mad as Hatter Maniacs. Lit lunatic, lunatics, let's get lit! Keyed up kleptomaniacs stuck in a K-hole, keen on kaleidoscopic Kuru and Korsakoff syndrome to KO the night's move thinking, kangaroo court knuckle-headed Illuminati cacistocracy. Young's cataclysmic exteriorization phenomenon jumps, jackass jerky, jackhammer juveniles. Irritated and irrational whilst intoxicated and irate. Insanely inhumane and inflamed. Illusion de Sauzet, I think your pet iguana is an imposter. Inexplicably inconsiderate whilst incoherent, idiosyncratic, impulsive and in a fit. Hysterical hypochondria, huffy and high-strung, hot-headed and held up. Hide your Jekyll. Hanging horrendously, hospitalised, head over heels, halting harebrained hallucinations. Haste, you better run away then and hide your Jekyll. Gung-ho and grotesque, grandiose and goosey, gang stalking gestalt therapy. Gonna go crazy, garish gander. Grimoires and Goetia girls grooming garbage in the gulag. Fuming fuddled fury, fried feeding frenzy, frunk as duck and frantically foaming at the mouth, full-heartedly and frothing at the bit. 4 out of 5 voices in your head say go for it. Flip your bush, flip your lid and wig, flip the fiendish pastimes of esoteric, erotomaniac extremists, enraged and enraptured, electric complex enthusiasts, ECT candidates eliciting the eccentric whose drooling deja vu drivel. Sorry, it's a big alphabet. Like me and my dehumanized double talk droogs who are dopey and doomed, dizzy, ditzy, and diss my psychiatric disability. Like distorted, disgruntled dinglings with demonic delirium, tremendous tremens. And debased dark triad traits with DSM-6 dual diagnosis on a DSP, dissociated abilities with dark force entities. Creeping on criminal crusades, contorted clairvoyant convulsions, controlling the weather by CERN, which is a concern. Creating clouds of confabulated clang associations that cut covert, check up counterintelligence and disappear into Cotard delusions on community treatment orders. Sorry, I need to have a board. It's very tongue-tying there. Okay. Certifiable candidates for cray-cray covert narcissistic rage. In bedlooms, buffoonish brokehouse for the brain sick, blindly boisterous, God blimey bizarro to the big ticketed bemused bats in the belfry. Beg your pardon about my bipolar bear who is backed by the Burdekin Report, benevolently breaking barriers, barking brave and brazen, bombastic breakthroughs with balls and backbone. Applaud avant-garde automaniacs as keen as mustard and ardently aroused, alcohol use disordered type A absurdists, anarchistic altered addicts with acataphasia. Alphabet agencies like ASIO and Terragrade amnesia and auditory agnosia with acquired aphasia and astasia abasia of the Alice in Wonderland experience fantasia. Thank you. As you can see, it's a bloody mouthful, and it's very, very difficult to get it all out. So I've just got one more. Just let me have some water. Okay, so this is a special that I actually wrote this morning. I've been thinking about it for a while, but it's actually for Linda and Douglas's love of Henry Lawson. So this is Henry Lawson and yours truly. So I'm mixing both his words and my words. Okay, here we go. This is the first time I've read it, so please forgive me if it's a bit clunky. Okay, it's called The Demon Drink. Have you ever seen the bladdered bush by moonlight? On the Maudlin midnight train, a glimpse of mawkish mystic sky. Miles and miles of thirsty gutters, treacherous tracks that trap, dismal country for the exiled lush. And beer's a fitting friend for such a fuddled hell rush. You left a lot of broken idols in sloshed slaughter along the track, and I, with heavy lunacy, burnt a lot of fancy verses behind the lone sundowner's blottoed back. Go stinko striding, chickered up the street as the sunlight laughs behind you, dotting all the legless days of black despair into tippled tragedy. Raging through the mocking morning, wrecking into it, reeking of it, a bitter cup of besotted nightmares, steaming crapulent. When you get fuddled in foreign lands and screech, "The brute, the boar, he's drinking!" The mischief maker, having had a skinful, collapses the crock of it all into whiskey-stained hands, loose-tongued, with legs unstable. 'Tis no tale of blasted bravery, nor hammered heroism. Just ordinary, belligerent boozing, an escapism from dull and domestic duty, from a cheap Brahms and Liszt, a nagging miss, with deep sorrows, full as a gulg and obscure, in which farce and placid death seemed the only cure. His home was whacked hell, but the pub was half seas over heaven. To nag and drink, or drink and nag, that was the cockeyed question. As neither of them could stand each other, so to imbibe seemed the only squiffy solution. Seeing no end in sight, she purchased half a gallon of that secret strung-out cure to see what evil genius had chance to lash the lure, only to uncover the reasons behind his guzzling which would follow. To get out of sadness, out of trouble, because of a toothache or a broken knuckle. To knock 'em back for nerve cure, to cop a skinful when you've made a fool, when you're frightened, or to celebrate as a rule. To being flush and hard up on luck, because you don't give a damn, nor two flying fucks. And when you go stinko striding, shick it up the street, 3 sheets to the wind and loose-tongued on wobbly legs. There seems no solution out of this funk. They say drink is a temporary madness, and now you're in the gutter, out of one's gourd and stuck. So what do? You get drunk, you get drunk, you get drunk. Thank you.
Wow, what an exuberant performance. Give it up for Elise again. Gosh, imagine trying to memorise the second poem. That would be an incredible effort, wouldn't it? I think I'd need a couple of Valium after that one, that's for sure. All right, up next we've got Peter Dufty, and his guitar's been together for a while through all kinds of trials. So hopefully Peter will make us smile. And Peter participated in the original Mad Pride concert in Ryde in 2003.
Oh, my mother filmed it, and Douglas has got a copy of it.
Wow.
It's going to be, how much of it is going to be, it's on tomorrow, I think.
That's it, we've got that tomorrow, haven't we, Doug?
Yes, yes, if you have a look at page 6, you'll actually see the program for tomorrow.
I can't show you that one, but that's A major, well, it's not A major, because it's an A. Not an A can be a major or a minor. Do you want the explanation of that one? You have to come to my classes. Professor Kylo is the head of my school. Has anyone met Professor Kylo? No.
You were talking about the ward.
Professor Kylo, it's a lock-up psychiatric unit in Prince of Wales Hospital, and it's a hellhole, don't worry. But I have got photos for the mayor. It's not photos of the patients, it's photos by the patients. So I don't know whether anyone might be interested in those. They're not on my phone, they're on the laptop, so it's old. All right, here we go. I would just like to sing you a little ditty here. I wrote this one myself. I did steal some of it from a few people, but if I don't mention their names, you'll never know, will you? Alas for a lass that I knew well, and all of the stories that I could tell. Wherever she's gone, I hope she's doing well. Up in heaven, not in hell. Alas for a lass that I knew well, and all of the stories that I could tell. Wherever she's gone, I hope she's doing well. Up in heaven, up in heaven. There you go. I wrote that one, by the way, in case there's any dispute about who the author is. And the next one is,
We know who you're referring to.
you know, a few other people know too. We're not saying the name.
No.
But this is Irish.
Sorry?
Irish?
The song?
Yeah.
No, I wrote it. It's Australian, mate. I wrote it. I wrote it in Australia. It's not Irish. I don't have any Irish in me, I'm afraid. I wouldn't have minded a few of them, but... Sorry. I didn't. Just in case.
Channeling.
The Irish. I know Henry Lawson. I visited. He's a resident in Waverley Cemetery, but there's a few other famous people there. I'm not sure yet. But there's a lot of Irish revolutionaries buried there as well, by the way. There's a whole crypt thing for all the Irish revolutionaries that got deported to Australia at some stage, believe it or not. Oops. Here we go. Next song. How are we doing for time? All right, good. Here we go. There are some people whose life is in a bottle of wine. There are some people whose life is in a bottle of wine. Red just like roses and like the setting sun. Bottle of wine, just look what you have done. And in the evening's greyness, the pavement's also grey. In the green of the park, that's where some people stay. Bottle of wine, there's nothing I can say. Thank you very much. I think I might have written that one when I was about 15 years old, actually. That was... All right, here we go. Moving on. We'll do another one. This is for any of those musicians. The key of B flat. B flat. That's the B flat. It's easy on a guitar. Try doing it on a piano. Believe me, I wasn't joking about my students trying to teach B flat. Beautiful piano they've got there. It's brand new. It's never been used because it's in a locked room. I'm trying to get them to move it. It's brand new. I know it's brand new because there's no elephant in it. The old pianos were made of ebony and ivory, believe it or not, and it's plastic. There's no dead elephant in it for sure.
Is that anything to do with Paul McCartney?
Yeah, Paul McCartney wrote that song. That's what it's about. Ebony and ivory is about a piano keyboard. The ivory was the white keys. The black one is the famous dark wood that was dark, but it's probably endangered or something, used by now. All right, here we go. Hey, you feeling blue? What you gonna do? Will you let your dreams come true? Hey, you feeling down? Can you turn your life around? Empty skies behind your eyes. Will you spread your wings and fly? Busted, disgusted, not trusted, needs justice. Hey, you feeling blue? You know what to do. You know the dreams come true. That's more of the old 50s rock and roll. I think it's a bit of the old radio, 50s radio. Anyone can remember 50s radio? There was definitely black and white divisions in 50s radio, believe me. Some may know. Here we go, one more and that's enough from there. I don't know who's next. Oh, Michael's going to be on. You're next. All right. I'll slow it down though, so... What do you want me to speed it up?
Yeah.
Slow it down?
Whatever you
This is the one that my voice always goes hoarse on every time I...
Which key key is the next one?
This is in the key of G. G major.
G major.
Yeah, G major. That's sort of slightly out. That's where we go. G. Yeah, you can photograph it. It's all right. I don't mind. I'm not against photography. Don't worry, I had a camera shoved in my face my whole life. Believe me, I know how to make funny faces. Here we go. Nothing to do with that. This is about something else. There's nothing like living in Sydney to shake off the stay-at-home blues. There's cafes and theatres and beaches. You can do anything that you choose. There's nothing like going to the country. Get all the grime from your skin. Country is open and friendly, high up where the waters begin. There's trouble wherever I go to. Hard times won't leave me alone. Sometimes the people aren't friendly, so it's travelling down the road and I'm going. That one's for Clover Moore. She's still the mayor, is she? Clover Moore's still the mayor. Is she alive? Is she a vampire? Or? Thank you very much. That's it. And who wants to smile? You want to smile?
Oh gosh, let's hear it once more for Peter. Honest, just absolute truth that comes from performers that have given up their time for today, and we're always in for a unique experience when we see just the pure honesty and pure just people that are just themselves and are just doing what they love and are availing that for our joy this afternoon. So once again, thanks again, Peter. That was just fantastic. Our next performer is Paula Hanlon, who's been a peer worker for 26 years and is co-founder of the No Suppression Group that's met monthly for over 13 years. And this group provides opportunities for people to share their creativity in a welcoming, encouraging and safe space. Paula's poetry has a special place in her recovery as an outlet for memories and emotional expressions. Give a warm welcome this afternoon to Paula Hanlon.
I was hoping to stand up, but my legs are a little bit wobbly, so best to sit. But thank you so much for everyone being here. It's so good to see so many people here. Is that okay? The sound is okay? Yeah, cool. Thank you. So my first poem's a poem called Life's Journey, and it was one that I wrote. I attended a forum that was put on by Being, our state peak body for people with mental health issues, and at the afternoon we had workshops, and I did the poetry one, and the poet who was leading that workshop gave us all a challenge to write something in 15 minutes, and this is what I wrote. Everybody knows the ocean wave is like life's journey, with dichotomous movements creating the story. Everybody knows the crashing on shore dumps weeds upon the canvas of life. Everybody knows the moment is fleeting, with purity as the retreating begins. Everybody knows the sparkling diamonds on the crest invites us to join the life within. Everybody knows the wave returns again and the journey continues forevermore. Thank you. I actually had that in an art exhibition, and he was the New South Wales governor at the time. He's now a Governor General. He bought it, And the next time I saw him, he said to me it's got a special place on his desk. So if anybody's ever in the Governor General's office, let me know if it's still there.
What happened to your friend that was that calling coach, that lady?
Can we catch up after David? Yep, thanks. So my next poem's called Cascading Tears. And where this poem came from, I hadn't had an admission to hospital for 15 years, and I was going through some horrific bullying and humiliation by another peer worker, which was even more heartbreaking. But that led me into this admission, and I think it was day 2. This poem just flowed out of me, and my friend Linda, her and I founded the No Suppression group, she walked past my room and I said, "Can I read you my poem?" And she came in, and we've been friends ever since. And she said to me, "Can I get my guitar?" And she put it to music, and she's produced it. She called it Strong, and it was one of the best days. I got to go to the Wiggles studio and met the Wiggles producer who produced the album. It was so fantastic. But anyway, this is the poem that I wrote. Lost in our madness, a scary place to be. How do we escape these thoughts of hurting me? I know I'm not the target, prevailing rage that does invade, destroying hope and strength abound. An empty shell has now been made. Anxious tears that do cascade shine the cheek as they pass on by. The seeing eyes, oiled and soiled, stop the self so weak to cry. The battle fighting within, so powerful a conflict to prove, to tear us limb from limb, I gravely fear will lose. The jigsaw so jumbled and lost, to be repaired through gentle care. Quieten the voices of anger and fear, be whole again if you dare. Where is this place of solace and peace, where the pain does not strike the fearful soul? Give us strength to resist life's dichotomy, become strong, the resounding toll. Our curse and saviour are but one, together they break, together they heal. Listen to all the answers therein, the pain will end and again jointly feel. To review the road we've travelled, this journey of madness and tears, we can truly say it's not a highway, but just an avenue of fears. Thank you. My next poem is one that I wrote when I was up in the northern Queensland, and we went for a walk through the rainforest. It was a guided walk, and the guide said to us, you know, if you see a cassowary, don't go near it because they have killed humans. And so we're walking along this track, and I'm so busy looking up, and I thought, oh, I might be stopping somebody from getting around. So I turned around thinking there were humans behind me, and it was a cassowary. He was up on the track and right face to face with me. So I turned around and just sort of scuttled into the middle of the group and said, "There's a cassowary." And then as everyone stopped to look, and the cassowary jumped off the track and then walked alongside of us. So but it was such a privilege. Once I got through the fear that I'd actually soiled myself. Too nice to say shitted myself. There you go. Oh, I said it. Sorry, I've got voices in my head. So this is a poem I called Stalked. A rainforest walk in northern Kew, a Daintree track with just a few. Looking up, the trees reach the sky, so small on this planet are you and I. Before the trek, our lessons learn not to panic with that dangerous bird. It will attack if it feels a challenge, so stay the course with all your baggage. At back of the group, I took my time to enjoy the land where there's no time. Footsteps behind, I'm being a block, I should move faster to join my flock. Turning around to acknowledge my flaw, I was surprised to see who's at the door. A teen cassowary stalking at arm's length, breath held as I maintained myself. Moving into the group centre, I shared with others about the encounter. The bird now walking alongside the path was potentially deadly as we passed. This is your land, we must respect. We were visitors invading their nest. Thank you for letting us through, to be in awe of all you do. You are majestic in your stance, walking proudly as you glance. You let us know that this is your home, a cassowary space that you truly own. Thank you. Have I got time for one more? Yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So this one's called Peace in Our Aloneness. And this, I guess this for me is another, when I was feeling very lonely, depressed, and one of the things that's really hard when you're a peer worker and you're along in your recovery is when you get unwell, we get this sense of shame, and it can be really hard to then, get back on that journey. But it's amazing that we've got that strength and resilience. So this is called Peace in Our Aloneness. There is peace in our aloneness, time to reflect, time to grow, space for slowing in quiet times, a change of pace for days unknown. There is peace in our aloneness, time to reconnect with those we know. We share our journeys along the way to show others no need to fear. There is peace in our aloneness, time to learn and add new skills, to extend ourselves beyond our limits, to shine through the darkness. There is peace in our aloneness, time to appreciate the natural world, the sun, breeze and rain that surrounds, the smells and sights that add a smile. There is peace in our aloneness, time to share a prayer above, to ask for guidance on how to help, to be the measure of God's love. You are not alone.
Oh, that was just delightful. Thanks. Put your hands together again for Paula. We're experiencing years of experience here, aren't we, so, in terms of the amount of beautiful care and diligence and love and compassion that's gone into the work and the performances that we're experiencing. Now, Michael Appleton has asked me to call him Mad Mike. Has been involved in the consumer movement for over 32 years. A round of applause for 32 years. Got to be some award for that. If not a gold pen, there's something better than that. That's it. His flair for comedy has been a part of his life since childhood and has been pivotal in his recovery. Michael's aim in life is to make 6 people smile and 6 people laugh every day. That's a baker's dozen, yeah? A goal he achieves and exceeds regularly. So it's more than a dozen a day.
Yep, I'll tell them. Listen, I've just got some bad news. Apparently Count Dracula just lost his teeth. Now they're calling him Count Dracula. Listen, I don't know why I'm called Mad Mike. I'm not mad. Overweight, but not mad. And listen, you lot, I know I'm fat. I'm that fat, I make Moby Dick look like a goldfish. I'm that fat. My friends use me as a windbreak to light their cigarettes. I'm that fat. When I go to the beach, the little ladies use me for shade. I'm that fat. A cannibal reckon he could make a fortune selling me by the kilo. But the good news is, I have gone to a GP. The GP told me all I've got to do is watch what I eat. And I'm doing that. I always look at my food twice before I eat it. But yesterday, seriously, I was serious, no? Oh my God, I sound like a politician. Anyway, I see this, no? I actually got myself a talking scale. Got on them this morning and I was just screaming, get out, get out! But I'm not fat. I just like up my food. Listen, speaking about food, I've got two true stories I want to share with you. Once to do when I was 13 years old, my second admission to hospital, I was the only child in a ward full of adults. Now, I didn't realise when I went in front of a group of doctors that was a tribunal. You know, I don't think we had words like that in my day. We had a lot of words like more, whatever. Anyway, in this group of psychiatrists, the head of the panel was a blind psychiatrist, by the way, with his seeing eye dog. And that made sense. My first psychiatrist in Prince Henry, she was in a wheelchair. They'll take anyone. Anyway, the point I'm driving at is, after the interview, the blind psychiatrist gets up, comes over with his dog, and said, Michael, remember, I'm 13 years old. Michael, thanks for coming. They don't know what to make of you. And spontaneously I said, oh, that's okay, Doc. I don't know what to make of you either, but I like the dog. And that is a true story, by the way. Now, when I was about 18, sorry, thank you. When I was about 18, 19, I was actually in Glasgow Hospital. I got transferred from, we call it Macquarie today, but in my days it was called North Ryde Psychiatric Hospital. Looking through the doors, the glass doors, they want to know, hey guys, we're getting sponge cake and green icing for breakfast. And so I said, oh, don't be silly, Michael. And so I looked through the door. Michael's right, we're getting sponge cake and green icing for breakfast. Unfortunately, we were wrong. It turned out to be scrambled egg with parsley. But no, I actually named it Yellow Pill. Believe it or not, and the name today has that till today, and I'm going back 40 years. And by the way, today I still miss hospital cooking. Believe it or not. Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or in my case, crazy. Anyway, getting back to it. I got a Yellow Pill, and at my table, one of the guys said, whoever eats this should always get a note saying, eat at your own risk. And I said, don't you mean eat your own pill? But the food was really bad. Can you tell me what colour lime cordial is?
Green.
What's orange cordial?
Orange.
And what's raspberry cordial?
Red.
Right. But in hospital, lime cordial was dirty water. Raspberry cordial was dirty water. Orange cordial was
Dirty water.
Yeah. I actually missed the cooking. Like I said, but I've got one more to tell you. I actually think this is quite hilarious. Some of my friends think it's not, but I want to show you anyway. Again, when I was 13 years old, I was in, like I said, Bordeaux. And the adults in my ward actually worked out, everyone through the walkway, what calmed me down was food, right? Now, I was, had my weekend, I lost my weekend leave again, which was nothing unusual for me, being a typical 13-year-old. Anyway, on Sunday, I started on this wobbly, and they got me sitting in another room, and one of the patients came up with a big plate of food, you know, whatever, meat, about 4 or 5 mashed potatoes, pumpkin wine, poured up, gravy all over it, poured it a lot off. In fact, I think I plate clean, gravy all over my face. This nurse walks in, looks at the plate that's totally clean. I put a pussycat tray.
He does too.
And I'll tell you what more I'll do this. And he looked at my face and he said, you're a real pig, aren't you? And he sets me off again, right? And then a patient came to him with this big, and I mean big bowl of dessert. And he said to the nurse, can I see you in the foyer, please? And he calls him in the hallway and said, excuse me, favour, will you please keep your mouth shut? We're waiting on bloody food. And by the way, Paula's right. I think we were in Queensland or Western Australia, and we went to this ice cream factory, and I had to have their waffle. It was the waffle you got, a real waffle, not this little, pardon my language, this little, the shit that you get today, these little round things or squares. In my day, they had this really big waffle machine. You see them pour the butter on and make it. People, anyone my age will know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyway, Paula's at the counter talking to this lady, and the lady says, your friend must really have liked that. And Paula says, how can you tell? He's licking the plate. And she turns around, yes, I am.
He's not with me.
Yeah. But I just enjoy, and look, I'm not afraid of being me. Right? And my only number is not. Be yourself. Besides being yourself, be an individual. But by being an individual, remember, if you firstly don't succeed, don't take up skydiving. There's one by a phone.
No.
Thanks again, Michael.
You're welcome.
Now I'll bring Douglas up, because what have we got coming up next to finish on proceedings today?
If you go to page 5 on your program, you'll see that we're running a little bit over time. But it's been really enjoyable. Part of my job here was to do two things. One was, on page 10, there's a list of people that we'd like to thank for the effort they've actually put in to make that happen today. You may even find your own name on that list. Page 11, David. God, I'm glad you're here, David. You're keeping me on track with the program. It's just bloody amazing, you know? So one of two things can happen. We can either have an early mark, or I can tell you what we were planning to do with this next 20 minutes. And before I do that, I just want to let Paula know that David Hurley and I not only have the same initials, but we have a number of other things in common. And both of us actually have OIMs, and I'm on a first name basis. I'm part of. I can get you a photograph, Paula, if you like. One of the things with bipolar affective disorder is the 7 things that you actually need to have it. And one of those things is actually having what they call delusions of grandeur. Right? And one of my delusions is I'd really like to make a documentary around the consumer movement. And today was the start of getting people to think about, from a Mad Pipe perspective, to actually start doing some filming so that we actually turn it into a documentary. And I know it's not a delusion of grandeur because I pay $890 a day to work with a guy called Peter DeVille. Peter's done a lot of documentaries through the ABC, and it's been fabulous working with him. The problem is when you're on the pension, you've got to really save your pennies to get the $890 to get his attention. Pete DeVille. Google his name and you'll see some of the... P-E-T-I-R-E. Faye Jackson's name was mentioned earlier on, and she would have been here today, but unfortunately she had some work and she's in Melbourne, right? And I had the privilege of actually being online with her for 2 hours while we actually played the Mad Pride 2003 concert, a live premiere. And what was interesting, the average time that people actually stayed on the 2-hour concert was 32 minutes and 19 seconds. Now, why is that important? Because the average length of time people actually watch anything on YouTube is 17 seconds. Do you understand that? 17 seconds. That's the average length of time, right? And the majority of people only last 3 seconds because if they can't actually, unfortunately they're the under 25s, if they can't actually get something. So this video I'm going to turn on in a moment. Faye Jackson actually emceed the 2022 Consumer Day.
Welcome to the Mad Pride 22. It's good to see you all here. I think we've got a really good audience. That's fantastic.
You could never know what it's like. Your blood like winter freezes, just like ice, and there's a cold, lonely light that shines from you. You wander like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in a magical way. And if you need to know why I'm still standing, you just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah. Once I never could hope to win. You're starting down that road, leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still.
And there was a bit of, not pushback, but I think just a bit of nervousness about having peer support workers in a suicide prevention team. And I think there was this strange clinical type fear that we might enter into some sort of suicide pact with our consumers. And that's so inappropriate. I have a lived experience. I'm never going to enter into a suicide pact with a consumer. I have massive trust issues.
I'm in hospital, and we can really help people just break out of their suicidal thoughts in a very quick time. Peer workers, I wasn't working as a peer worker at this stage. I was in hospital. I'd been running naked down the street singing Oklahoma at the top of my voice, which is as you do, and I was in there, and there was another. I was manic. And the world was beautiful. They never locked me up when I was depressed and wanting to kill myself. They were always locking me up when I thought the world was gorgeous. I guess that is pretty insane if you think about it. There was a man in there though, and he was suicidal. And I was saying to him, "Oh, mate, you don't want to die. You don't want to die, mate. This world's beautiful. Life's fantastic." And he's saying, excuse the language, I'm just telling it how it was. And he's saying, "Can know a thing. You don't fucking know anything. I do want to die. Don't tell me what I want to do and what I don't want to do." And I'm going, "Oh, mate, you don't want to die. I do want to die. No, mate, you don't want to die, and I can prove to you that you don't want to die. You can't fucking prove to me that I don't want to die." And yeah, I can. And I jumped up and grabbed him by the throat and started choking him. And he fought me off. He fought me off. And of course, they pulled the alarms and the nurses and the security guards came and they dragged me off, but they dragged me off backwards and I'm going, "See, mate, you didn't want to die."
Playing my songs, so I am freaking out a little bit, but it's taken me, thank you, it's taken me 45 years to work through fear and everything else to get here. And Peter very kindly has complimented my shirt today, saying it's lovely and colourful, but what he doesn't know is it's the only one that wasn't covered in cat hair, and that's why I'm wearing it. This first song is called Drive, and it's about my car. I love getting in my car and driving away, and it's about all the times I've gotten in my car to drive away to find home. Going away tonight, I see those city lights fading away tonight again. The sun is coming up around this windy bend. I don't know where I am. Going to find a place to live down by the sea, breathing in the ocean's tides. On the roll and it's unsettling at times, like these memories of mine. But I say no, you're not getting me this time. I'm gonna drive it out all through the night and say no, you're not getting me this time. I'm gonna drive it out until I'm fine.
If money comes through, I won't be blue. If I did what I could, but the money's no good, sing a work song. If the job seems tough, sing a work song. If the pay doesn't seem enough, sing a work song.
How old I am. They put on this workshop in Ashfield, I think it was, and I booked into a poetry session in the afternoon. We had a published poet who came along and talked about, theory and putting something together, and he gave us 15 minutes to write something, which we then shared with everyone, and this is what I put together. Everybody knows the ocean wave is like life's journey, with dichotomous movements, there's that word again, with dichotomous movements creating the story. Everybody knows the crashing on shore dumps weeds upon the canvas of life. Everybody knows the moment is fleeting, with purity as the retreating begins. Everybody knows the sparkling diamonds on the crest invites us to join the life within. Everybody knows the wave returns again and the journey continues forevermore. Thank you.
Bringing in the walls of a field, calling to the shepherd, where you been? Less and less suffering, bringing in the walls of the world. A shepherd says to me, where you been? Less and less suffering.
Before I do routine, I actually want to share something that's, I think it's weird, that will actually make you laugh. When I was about 19, I was in Glacial Hospital. And in Glacial Hospital, we had Ward 29, which was the lock-up ward. Now, in the lock-up ward, a lot of the patients would either try or did escape from the lock-up ward, which is understandable. But you're looking at the only person that actually broke into the lock-up ward. And when they asked me, why did I break in the lock-up ward? I said, I just want to see if it could be done. And they said, what do you mean by see why it could be done? I said, well, like when that guy climbed the mountain, people say, why did you climb the mountain? Because it was there. So, I actually want to...
Go. Once a jolly madman camped by a lily pond, hiding from the gaze of a psychiatrist or three. And he laughed and he sang and he ran stark naked everywhere. You come a waltzing the mania with me. Speed it up. Waltzing the mania here in Australia. You come a waltzing the mania with me, and we'll laugh and we'll sing and we'll throw bright colours in our hair. You come a waltzing the mania with me. Up jumped a doctor mounted on his high horse. Up jumped the nurses, 1, 2, 3. Where's your medication? You should have had it hours ago. Now back to hospital is where you'll go. You must be joking. No more brain poking. I'm never going back to that place again. And he laughed and he sang and he ran stark naked everywhere. Why not come a waltzing the mania with me? Waltzing the mania here in Australia. You'll come a waltzing the mania with me, and we'll laugh and we'll sing and we'll celebrate with our Kiwi kin. We are the mad ones and we're proud to be. We might leave it there. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
See why he put me down. So, like, when that guy climbed the mountain, people say, why did you climb the mountain? Because it was there. So, you know, I